We begin with the international business news. Global stocks climbed for a third straight session of gains on Tuesday on the strength of renewed expectations that policymakers can correct a debt crisis threatening to derail the world's economy.
Today's good news comes amid the International Monetary Fund's forecast of solid economic growth for sub-Saharan African countries. The IMF says sub-Saharan Africa prospects are high, but the global economy poses some risks. Ndiho has more.
The IMF says the economic crisis in the developed world could become a crisis for developing countries. And despite the drought and famine in the Horn of Africa, growth prospects for sub-Saharan Africa remain robust. Recent economic developments are, however, expected to reduce the momentum. The downside risks to the current forecast are significant, according to the IMF's Director for Africa.
Financial market volatility and a sharp slowdown in growth in advanced economies, advanced countries, it would affect sub-Saharan Africa, of course, by subduing demand for the region's exports, and of course private financial flows, which have been significant to the region in the past couple of years, a few years, and so restricting growth in the region's more integrated economies and the middle-income countries in particular.
Say noted that in middle-income countries like South Africa, unemployment is high, and the growth has been severely affected by the global economic crisis. Meanwhile, African oil exporters are enjoying the fruits of their oil export because of the high prices. Despite this good news, the IMF Africa Director says there is a significant downside risk for the outlook on the global economy.
Most of the low-income countries have been doing very well, as I said before. 1/3 of them are expected to grow by more than 6% this year. But poor households have been hit, as you know, better than I probably, hard by the rising food and fuel prices. And the famine, of course, is devastating quite a bit of the Horn of Africa.
Commonwealth finance ministers also met to discuss developing and emerging countries in the fields of international monetary funding and development finance. The group called on the international community to strengthen delivery and the use of aid in order to make it effective in creating jobs, improving livelihoods, and combating poverty. Paravin Gohan, South Africa's finance minister, noted that the manner in which aid is delivered may also impact domestic accountability of both partner and donor countries.
And it's generally accepted that we need to move away from a kind of donor-recipient relationship to one where we encourage development partnerships. And this is where, even if these economies amongst the 54 members of the Commonwealth might be small, and numerically on the margin, they are important potential sources of demand and growth as we go forward within the context of what the World Bank and others have been calling the multipolar world that we are unfolding.
Analysts say that prior to the crisis and following more than a decade of steady growth and debt relief, African economies have strengthened. But now, if the economic situation in high-income countries continues to deteriorate significantly beyond what is currently envisaged in the baseline scenario, growth in sub-Saharan African countries might be downgraded beyond the current moderate slowdown. Ndiho, VOA News.